Does the idea that a fragrance can pair with an ensemble seem strange to you? Well, it's true, and today we'll explain exactly what we mean. This video will illustrate how considering time, place, and desired atmosphere can create superior fragrance and outfit combinations. Consider the season. One of the simplest ways to create harmony between your clothes and your scent is to ensure that each is seasonally appropriate. For clothing, this involves selecting fabrics, weights, cuts, and colors that are largely suited to a season's weather and temperature. So think lightweight linen sport coats and cotton shirts, and bright or pastel colors in warm weather, or plush double-breasted suits, flannels, and lined gloves in cold weather. Fragrances follow somewhat similar rules, with what seems appropriate and what makes sense. Sense. For each season, for instance, a hot and sunny day at the beach, decadent rich scents like vanilla or bourbon could come off as cloying or unpleasant, just like a heavy flanneled overshirt or shearling lined boots, even though they'd be perfect on a cold day in front of a roaring fire. And while zesty, fruity, or even ice cream inspired fragrances would be ideal for the beach day, they might feel incongruous on a crisp fall day, rather like Frenching through leaves and madra shorts and a polo. Of course, what you consider a seasonal fragrance might vary with your culture. In North America, citrus smells are usually associated with warm weather. But because fruits are usually exchanged as holiday gifts in many parts of the world, there they can be associated with cold weather. Ultimately, ensuring seasonality in your scents helps you savor each season, like the Italian concept scorpacciata, which Preston explains in more detail here. Let's run down what we've learned with some examples. The seersucker fabric, lighter tones, and pastel paisley tie mark this as a spring ensemble. So we could put more spring in our step with a scent evocative of a fresh garden, such as a crisp chypre fragrance, like Loafer, with its bright orange, clove, and nutmeg notes, or the aptly named Giardino di Boboli by Roberto Ugolini, with its prominent floral notes, like geranium, rose, and jasmine. Bundled up in the snowfield, however, flowers are the last thing on Raphael's mind, so perhaps a scent with warm elements, like the smoky and spicy notes of Four Rosso, might take the bite out of the chill. Similar logic could apply to an autumnal ensemble, but here I'm clearly ready for some ice cream in the summer sun. So perhaps I could wear Roberto Ugolini's Azzurro, described by its creator as wearable ice cream, thanks to its sweet notes. I have even more summer-appropriate scents to recommend in this video. Just like clothes, of course, some scents are exceptional year-round, like Oxford, with its classic masculine base notes of cedar, sandalwood, and patchouli, or blue suede shoes, with its versatile and universally appealing notes of bergamot, ambergris, and vetiver. Now that you understand how to account for time of year in your fragrance and clothing choices, consider the time of day. Just like some garments and fragrances are evocative of certain seasons and climates, the same can be said for day and night. Like many of the concepts we'll be discussing today, this distinction doesn't have many hard and fast rules. Some scents immediately put you in mind of a sunny day, like green, fruity, or ozonic smells, while others are more typical of the evening, like spicy or smoky scents. But some rich and decadent fruit scents, like blood orange, may be more suitable for the evening, while spices like pink pepper or saffron can easily be associated with the daytime. It can therefore be helpful to frame the distinction as what can be worn to the office and what should be worn on an evening out. At the office, fragrances should generally be more subdued and unassuming, with typical, simple scents that won't overwhelm the senses or prove distracting. As an example, this no-nonsense business attire ensemble, with its traditional and dignified air, would pair beautifully with the conventional woody notes in Oxford, or the delicate spices in Derby. Learn how to avoid over-applying any fragrance in our cologne hacks. Conversely, if you're stepping out for the evening, just like you'd incorporate accessories with flair and personality, as Preston has done here, you can favor a more intense, intimate scent to reflect the intimacy and privacy typical of nighttime. The smoky, mysterious tinges of Angelica, Damask Rose, and Bourbon Vanilla that are all found in Four Rosso would be a great option, as with the intense citrines like Mandarin Orange or creamy vanilla notes of Marzocco, which is especially suited to warm weather evenings. An example of combining fragrances and garments to reflect the layers of both time of year and the time of day, like this bold ensemble for alfresco dining in the late summer in Italy. Failing to account for multiple factors like time and season is definitely a fragrance mistake that menswear experts avoid. Of course, there's a difference between what you'd wear in the evening on a night out with friends and to a black tie reception, or during the day when at work versus running errands. Which brings us to our next point. Consider the expected formality. For those new to classic style, it can be difficult to recognize at first what marks a garment or an accessory as more or less formal. Fortunately, we have extensive resources explaining this distinction. In many ways, the formality of scents is less clear-cut than with clothes, and is one more way that colognes can be confusing. But in general, fun, vivacious, airy scents are considered more casual, while intense, rarefied, intimate scents tend to be more formal. High Heel White, with its fresh, powdery, floral iris, and Lily of the Valley, and woody amber and frankincense, is a great example of a typical formal fragrance. We find it pairs extremely well with both daytime attire, such as for an elegant garden party, and evening attire, like a formal fete, while Azura, with its crisp, light, sweet scents of strawberry, grapefruit, and coconut, typifies casual scents, and while perfect for a stroll along the beach, would be out of place for a night out at the opera. Some scents, however, exist in a formal liminal space, in which they, like a navy suit or an ebony pair of shoes, can be dressed down or up based on the other elements in your ensemble. Let's consider Kitten Heel, a unisex fragrance with fruity and floral notes, underpinned by tonka bean and vanilla. Jack loves this fragrance because of its versatility considering its formality. With a combination ensemble, the casual nature of the clothes seems to heighten the sweet, fruity notes of the fragrance, while a more elevated but still bold formal look heightens its more upscale components. Obviously, this indicates that the formality of scent is heavily informed by individual associations and even personal perception. So in some cases, what smells formal to you might come off as more casual to others. That's why it actually helps to wear and pair fragrances, to see what does and does not suit you or the occasion. That's why we offer a sample pack that lets you sample all of what Roberto Ugolini has to offer. One of our best suggestions for understanding formality when pairing clothes and fragrances is to determine what kind of mood or atmosphere is appropriate for your event or destination. Let's explain more. Consider the situation and desired atmosphere. When it comes to establishing a desired mood or atmosphere for your activities or events, both your attire and fragrance can play a part, but that part can be either very obvious or subtle. For instance, if you're setting off on a yachting excursion, you could lean into that concept by wearing a navy blazer, a typical emblem of maritime sport, as explained here, and pairing that outfit with a distinctly nautical fragrance, like something with obvious sea salt notes. In most cases, however, your clothing and scent choices won't be readily apparent, so you'll need to use the previously discussed factors of seasonality, time, and formality to determine what suits the event. Let's say you're going shopping with a friend on a warm, sunny day, in a fun and casual ensemble. The floral and ozonic scents of Giardino di Boboli will not only have a lightness typical of day wear, but will match the season through the use of florals, typical of warm and hot weather. The green of the jacket is even more evocative of the smell of green growing things. Conversely, if you're meeting your superiors at a traditional white-collar office and have dressed in a conservative power suit, smells that are fun and unexpected, like champagne or ice cream, won't match the formality of a boardroom meeting, nor are they in keeping with the business-like attitude you're conveying with your wardrobe. Instead, a very traditional scent, like one that relies on precious woods, like Oxford, for example, will match the situation and the perception you wish to cultivate, both from your clothes and your fragrance. Finally, on a romantic evening date, you're likely to be wearing plush, decadent attire to convey a sense of solidity, attraction, and elegance. A light or breezy fragrance might come off as flighty and unserious. Not a good look or smell when seeking a romantic partner, but an intense and intimate fragrance, like 17 Rosso or Derby, features intoxicating and exotic fragrances that give you an air of mystery and allure. So just like when you're assembling your outfits, you should settle on a fragrance that reflects everything you hope to achieve with your clothes and what you hope to achieve during your event. Be that having a fun day with a friend, landing a big promotion, or securing that second date. Should you consider material? We'll pause here to consider that some online resources will encourage you to factor in the materials in your garments when selecting fragrances or perfumes. So for instance, if you're wearing light and breezy cotton, wear a light and breezy fragrance. In our opinion, however, this advice is somewhat superficial. After all, a cotton sport shirt will require a very different fragrance from a cotton evening shirt. So while material can play a role when selecting your fragrance, We'll often do so as part of a larger consideration of seasonality and formality, and perhaps as part of our last piece of advice. What are your personal associations? Season, time, formality, and desired atmosphere are all quite important. But at the end of the day, we're talking about your outfit and fragrance. So don't neglect your own personality and associations when selecting a fragrance. As an example, one of our writers, Eb, closely associates Italy with the aroma of myrrh, maybe because he visits so many historic churches while there. So oftentimes, when he's wearing an Italian-inspired outfit, Derby is his top pick, with its prominent myrrh middle notes, to remind him of his time in the Bel Paese. Selecting scent associations that have meaning for you and deliberately associating them with certain outfits is an excellent way to add a unique touch and personality to your entire look, and will help you cultivate a signature look and signature scent, so your entire personal style becomes a feast for the senses. Properly paired, the perfect fragrance will elevate any ensemble, and we're sure that with what you've learned today, you're ready to create your own startlingly scented style sensations. Let us know in the comments how you'd like to pair your outfits and fragrances. So today I decided to wear Oxford from Roberto Ugolini to pair with my outfit. Today I'm wearing a navy pinstripe suit, gray turtleneck, printed geometric pattern pocket square from Fort Belvedere, as well as some Fort Belvedere socks and brown dress shoes. I really liked the fragrance and how it complemented the outfit. Felt put together, sophisticated, but not too over the top, which is what I was going for today. And please remember, you can find this pocket square and many others, as well as this fragrance and a host of other accessories at the Fort Belvedere shop here.